I'm Bambi Francisco for Vino TV, the network for innovators. In 2006, 3 billion bottles of wine were sold in the U.S. That's up 18%. That's a lot of wine to store. Apparently, there's a shortage of wine cellars to store all that wine. That's why companies like Vino Veritas are emerging to build new storage facilities. In fact, they're building a green tech cellar to store those wines. Joining me to talk about Vino Veritas is Larry Lee on my far right, president and co-founder, and John Lawrence, CEO and co-founder. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on Vino TV. Larry, let me start with you. You say on the site, on your profile, that Vino Veritas is creating an energy-efficient storage facility. Why is it a clean tech facility?
Well, they've been storing wine underground for centuries. Very natural place to go. Mother Earth pretty much takes care of the temperature and the humidity underground, which is, as you know, if you are a wine enthusiast, and I know you are, it's very important that you store your wine properly. And the temperature, you want it to be around 55, 57 degrees. You want the humidity 65%, 70% humidity. And underground, that's exactly what you get. Very close to that. Certainly much closer than what you get in above ground structures, where average temperatures outside could range anywhere from 68, 72, 75, 80 plus degrees. And now you've got to drop that temperature and that humidity down, or get the temperature down and the humidity up. Underground, you're much closer to that. You might be starting at 60 degrees. So really the energy it takes to control the climate underground is much less, because Mother Nature pretty much takes care of it.
Right. Now, John, you're actually digging up to create these underground caves.
You're
not taking existing structures like Presidio Wine Bunkers is taking the old bunkers and creating these storages. But that seems very efficient, because you're taking something existing. How much is it going to cost what you want to build?
Our facilities will range between $400 and $500 per square foot for construction. So the initial cost is actually a lot higher than building a traditional above-ground boxy warehouse that's going to use all this electricity. But long-term, which isn't even that long for us, it's 3 to 5 years, we will be able to recapture all of those additional costs in operational savings by the reduced electricity usage. And we think that that's a really good long-term thing for us.
Who are your competitors? You just mentioned your competitors.
There's a lot of wine storage facilities. A lot of public storage facilities are converting portions of their above-ground warehouses to wine storage. There's some specialty storage places that are also all above ground in Napa, and it's a growing business. Sovereign Self Storage, one of the largest storage providers in the U.S., is building out 300 to 500,000 square feet of climate-controlled space in the next 3 to 5 years. There's a very large market for this. But again, the energy it takes to keep those cool and to keep those controlled is very significant, and energy prices are not going to be going down.
Well, Larry, John mentioned something about 5 years sort of breaking even at that point. At that point, what are your metrics? How many people, how many facilities will you have? How much wine will you be storing?
Well, obviously we'll start with one facility, but the long-term plan is from year 3 to year 5 is we open up a facility every year. So actually by year 5, we have 5 facilities that will be open. 10-year plan is we have 8 to 10 depending, because we've run across so many people that say, you know, I know a great place for you guys. You guys need to be here. And there are a number of markets all around California and all around the country that really it would be worth looking into. And it would be, the market is there.
You're going to start off in L.A.
We will start in Southern California just because that is where we are based right now. But we will move very quickly into other markets around the country.
There's actually something good about the L.A. market for us to start, too, is one, the climate conditions certainly lend themselves to the most benefit from energy efficient structure. And 2, just the market demographics are there for us, and they're excellent.
Okay, you mentioned market demographics. Who are you targeting? You're not targeting retail stores or wine shops. You're targeting consumers, and I believe you mentioned the iTunes generation.
Yeah, we are. We actually have a couple of different directions that we're going to try and maximize our market. One is the highest growth rate in the wine business, in wine consumption, is the millennials, which is age 21 to 29. This is the generation that's used to interacting with almost everything they have in a digital, interactive, dynamic way. So we're building an interface that brings that to them and marries it to all the things that they're learning about wine and their own wine collection. On top of that, you have your wine enthusiasts like Larry, whose idea this was at the genesis, 1,000-bottle wine collection. Where do I store it all? Always running out of room, refrigerators breaking down, all that stuff. And number 3, commercial clients, restaurants who have very limited spaces, but they keep wanting to expand their wine lists. And the only way they can do that is to buy wines when they're released from the wineries, and they need to keep them somewhere that's not taking up revenue-producing space in their restaurants.
So, John, you mentioned the millennial generation. Are they actually storing a lot of wine in, or are they looking for other places to store wine other than their homes?
The millennial generation is really, their taste in wine is growing very quickly and very rapidly in their sophistication. So there was a wine study done last year, I believe by the Wine Council, that talks about how fast they're migrating from the $2 chuck to the 25, 50 and above dollar bottles of wine. And as their sophistication grows, which is actually largely powered by the internet and by talking to other people on the internet about wine and different places that they can buy it, and micro labels that are doing really small runs, and their access to all these things has grown tremendously with the internet age of, I guess, alcohol sales.
So location has to be really key for them too. I mean, if this is storing down...
Sure, location is absolutely key. Yeah. And we expect each one of our facilities is going to be sized to service an area that's geographically close to it.
To a number of the 20-year-olds. Now, there's another reason why location is important, Larry. That's because you're also going to be having some wine... I don't know, it's going to be a wine bar as well?
Well, we're going to have a space in the facility where you can take your wine and sit down and share it with your friends. I'm going to my wine collection and I'm going to take a bottle out and we can sit, we can open the bottle of wine and we can enjoy it there. Members will also be able to come to an area where we can sit and they can bring their wine, or they can get some wine from the Vino Veritas collection if they are members, and they can enjoy that there also. So there's a number of different things that we're going to have in the facility. We'll also have event space outside that we want to be able to have things like receptions and weddings, and just it's to add to the wine experience and what you expect from that.
Now, Vino Veritas is part of the Vader Wine 2.0 Red Point Ventures competition.
It is.
So, and you have a number of views and a number of votes and high ratings. So now you have an opportunity to tell Chris one more time, Chris Moore, who's the VC that's behind this. Why should he pick you in this contest?
We're a great growth business. We've very well mapped out an exit strategy and a road to profitability. We think that the market is an excellent one. It's very strong. $22 billion in the storage market just last year in 2006. People need places to store stuff. We think this is a great long-term play, and it's also asset-backed. So our facilities are assets. They're backed by real estate. It's not vaporware that's never going to show up or never get users. We think we have a really strong business model that marries traditional asset-backed development with a digital front end that brings a whole new generation of people to wine.
Okay. Well, just to remind everyone that if you do want to help the Vino Veritas win this competition, you can rate, you can vote, and the companies with the highest ratings, the highest views, and the highest votes becomes part of the short list that Chris Moore at Red Point Ventures will take a look at. So good luck to you both. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I've been speaking with Larry Lee and John Lawrence of Vino Veritas. I'm Bambi Francisco.